Hi, this is Jodi. I'm so glad you've joined us on our playlist about the books we've read. Lauren and I are really excited to share with you some information. So, I'm going to talk about some books. The first one is called A History of the World in Seven Cheap Things. This book is by Raj Patel and Jason W. Moore. I would show you the book, but I tend to be a Kindle reader, so it's not very exciting on my little Kindle. It doesn't have a nice, pretty cover. I have used this book so many times in the interviews that we've had with people or the conversations we've had with people to make points and help people make connections about how important nature is to us. It's fascinating because it goes through the history, seriously, the history of the world in Seven Cheap Things. It talks about nature, money, work, food, care, energy, and lives, and how through our history we have worked very hard to cheapen these things in the eyes of others so that we could commoditize them and earn a buck off them. And, when I started reading it, I didn't expect a whole lot from it. I have um, been incredibly surprised by the depth of information in the book, how this commoditizing kind of weaves through history at all different levels, and some of the revelations that came to me. So much so that I wrote a poem. I'm not going to read you the whole poem, I promise that, but I'm going to read you one stanza or two stanzas from the poem, and I'll put a link to the poem in this book review. I'm not a poet, but sometimes I'm compelled to put words on paper. So this is just two stanzas from the poem I wrote, which is called "We as Nature." I find a revelation in reading that this used to not be, this we and other. Existence of apartness, not a part of. Separate, mistrustful, and abusing. We used to be nature and work with the soil and the wind and the sun as we perceived it moving across our shared sky. Making something other diminishes it, makes it cheap, unworthy, unsophisticated, makes it usable, makes it a righteous thing to profit from it, makes it okay to subjugate it, fight it, fear it, toss it, rape it, and confine it. Even while we still see the sun moving, nurturing our home, we think that measuring its path makes it ours. I think that this book is powerful. I highly recommend you read it. What it did for me also is help me realize that there aren't saints and sinners so much as tools that we start to get in the habit of using incorrectly. For example, science always seemed to me to be the ultimate truth. But in that last bit of that stanza, we sometimes use science to to imply that we are all powerful, and we are not all powerful. We are part of an incredibly complex system that we need to respect. So find the book. Again, I'll make sure a cover picture is in the review. It's called A History of the World in Seven Cheap Things. It's a guide to capitalism, nature, and the future of the planet. And it's by Raj Patel and Jason W. Moore. Again, I read on Kindle and made a nice little cover for my Kindle, but you can pick up a copy or an audiobook. So please do that. Thanks for listening to our book reviews. Send us some ideas of books that we can share to inspire others as well. Thanks, and we are all subject to change.